Okay, welcome back to Math 31, Section 4.7, and we're going to look at doing adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with mixed numbers. This is part one of two videos. Okay, this first problem is a division problem, and we're supposed to find the exact answer. A division problem, you're going to end up multiplying by the reciprocal. So what we have here is 1 and 1/3. You'll take the bottom number times the whole number, so 3 times 1, plus the extra 1/3 that's up there. So it's 3 times 1 plus 1 would be 4. This would be 4/3. So we're going to change that mixed number into top-heavy or improper fraction. And once it's in that mode, you just change the dividing to multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to take that 4/3 and make it 3/4, and you'll notice that we changed to multiplication now instead of the division that we had earlier. And once it's in this format, you can either cross cancel, and I don't see anywhere that helps, but we're going to just multiply across the top to get 15 and across the bottom to get 4. And then you can leave it that way, or if you prefer, you can put it in mixed number format. 4 goes into 15 3 times. And let's see how many leftovers there are. 4 times 3 is 12. You'll need 3 more to make the 15. So 3 3/4 is the other way to write the answer. Okay, example B, we're supposed to find the exact answer, but we're also supposed to estimate the answer. And usually the estimating is done first to give you an idea of what you should get when you do it exactly. Now the way this is going to work here is you're going to take this number here, 4 and 1/3, and you have to decide whether it's closer to the 4 or closer to the next number up, 5. And since 1/3 is not even halfway, this is closer to 4, so you think of it as being 4 when you're estimating. And then 3/5 is more than half. Think about half of $5 would be 2.5 or $2.50. So 3 is more than half, which means you want to round that 6 up to the next one, 7. And so our estimate's going to be 28. Okay, let's see how close we are with our estimate by actually doing the problem. You're going to unmix it. 3 times 4 plus 1. That's going to be 13/3. And then the other one is 5 times 6 plus 3, which is 33/5. We have the same denominator as we started with. It was fifths to start with. Now, once it's in this format, you can, in the multiplication format, you can cross cancel, and 3 goes into 33 11 times, and 3 goes into 3 once. And then all we do is multiply across the top. 11 times 13, 143, and 1 times 5 on the bottom. Now, if you do 5 divided into 143, it goes in 28 times, and that turns out to be 140. So you have 3 leftovers, in other words, 28 3/5. So here's the work over here for that last part, 143 divided by 5. 2 times 5 is 10, and you'll subtract. Bring down the 4, subtract 14 minus 10 is 4, and then bring down the next digit, which is 3. And there's 8 groups of 5 and 43. Turns out to be 8 times 5 is 40. So we have a remainder of 3, and you put that over 5. So that remainder becomes the top part of your fractional part of the answer. Okay, example C. We've got this mixed number down here that we have to unravel. You want to unravel these mixed numbers. So 4 times 3 plus 1 would be 13. So in this case, 13/4. So let me rewrite it that way. Okay, now this division problem gets exchanged for a multiplication problem, and you have to, when you do that, switch the second fraction to its reciprocal version. So there we go. And there's no cross canceling that we can do on this, but you just multiply across the top. 16, that's the 4 times 4, and 9 times 13 is 117. And this one is done. Okay, now we're back to another one where they want an estimate also. 8 and 1/9. 1/9 is barely, well, it's not halfway. 4 1/2 would be halfway. So that's closer to 8 than it is to 9. So for the estimate, you're going to think 8. And then 5 and 7/9. 7/9 is closer to 1 than it is to 0. And so if you go 5 and 7/9, you're closer to 6. So it's like 8 plus 6 is a good estimate. We'll say 14 for that estimate. All right, let's see how close we are. Let's unmix. Well, actually, we have to get a common denominator. No, we actually have a common denominator here. You know what? I think I did this wrong. You may have noticed I got a little shadow going on here, and I don't think I need all this here. So let me get rid of it. Okay, so 1/9 plus 7/9 is 8/9, and then 8 plus 5 is 13. So it's 13 and 8/9, and we are very close. We're only 1/9 away from that 14 estimate we had earlier. Okay, we're supposed to find the exact sum here and an estimate. 5 out of 7 is past halfway, so we'll round this number to 16. Okay, 16 for the estimate, plus either 3 or 4, depending on whether we think that's past halfway. Half of 6 is 3, so 1/6 is not past halfway. So this is our estimate, 19. Let's see how close we are when we actually do the problem. Okay, you'll notice here that the denominators don't match. So the first order here is to fix that. 6 and 7 both go into 42. So I'm going to multiply this by 7 and by 7 to get a 42 on the bottom, and then by 6 and by 6 to get another 42 on the bottom. So we have 30 over 42 plus 7 over 42. And let me copy the rest here. 15 and 3 we haven't used yet. Okay, so if you add the right-hand column, you get 37 over 42. And the left-hand column is 18. So our exact value is 18 and 37/42. And that is very close to 19, so our estimate was a good one. Okay, this is the last slide I'll do before I switch to the second video. And what we have here, we have to find the exact sum and the estimated sum again. Okay, our denominators here are 4 and 6. Those numbers both go to 12. So my goal here is to make 12 my denominator, like I now have. And you have to balance it by doing the same on the top. To make a 6 into a 12, you multiply by 2. And that'll give, on the next line, 6 and 3/12. And then we're going to be adding to that 2, and up here would be 10, and down here would be 12. So 10/12. Okay, when you add the right-hand column, 3 and 10 is 13/12. And on the left-hand side, you get 8. But this 13/12 that's down here, you got to keep working on that because that is more than 1. It's actually 1 and 1/12. And think about unmixing that. 12 goes into 13 once, so that's where you get this, with 1 left over, and that's that one. Okay, so now we're just going to say 9 and 1/12 and be done with the problem here. Okay, that's the exact value. I forgot to discuss the estimate. We'll do that now, which is sort of backwards because you're supposed to estimate before you do it to get a little bit of an idea of what you should get. Okay, 1/4 is less than half, so we're going to call this first number about 6. And 5/6 is more than halfway. Think of half of 6 would be 3. So we're going to bump this 2 up to 3. And our estimate would be 9. And it would be very close because 9 and 1/12 is only 1/12 higher than the value we estimated. Okay, I'll pick this video up on the other side, a second video here. And so I hope this helps you.